Merry Christmas, people.
Woo!
It is episode 52 of the Taxi Squad podcast. We got a fair amount to get into today, but before we do, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. Thank you for being here another year with us. It is truly an amazing thing. We got one more episode before we bring in the new year. We are stoked for it. Gotta love it. We got a fair amount to get into today, so follow, share, subscribe, tell your friends. It's one of the best seasons to give them the thing that keeps on giving, aka the Taxi Squad podcast. We have strange and unusual topics about Christmas dumps. We have some college football review. We also have some MLB hot stove, some Christmas Day NBA, and also our NFL picks. It's the Taxi Squad podcast.
Come on, everybody, celebrate. The Taxi Squad is here today. So lose the blues, kick back and relax for now. They talk about sports and stupid stuff. They're probably wrong and it might get rough. So welcome back, it's the Taxi Squad, yeah.
Vince, Merry Christmas, my friend.
Merry Christmas, dude. It's funny because it's coming out on Thursday. So what I could do is ask, hey, how was your Christmas? But we don't know because it's Christmas Eve when we're recording this. So
We don't know yet.
hopefully
It's Christmas
good.
Eve.
Hopefully good. We were, listen, it's that time of year. It's a wonderful time of year. I don't get as stressed for 11 months of the year, and I just get stressed out on the Christmas season.
Oh,
It does the entire opposite of what it's supposed to do for me. It's like end of the year, like getting stuff wrapped up, literally and figuratively, getting gifts wrapped up. You know, it's that time of year. Changes a bit when there's no kids around. Now that there's kids in the family, it'll hopefully change a bit. But yeah, no, right now, like pre-Christmas, I am too much going on in my head. I don't have any contacts left. I'm going glasses. I'm going cozy glasses right now. You're waving Santa over there. You're wearing jammies, dude. It's a wonderful time of year, but goddamn, is it a stressful time of year, Mike?
you know, Vince, it is a stressful time of year with the gift giving and the last minute gifts. You got to make sure everybody's taken care of. You know, as we get older, we do it for the kids, to your point. So,
Yeah.
you know, I spend the money on the kids. I don't spend it on my siblings anymore.
You want to hear a story really quick?
I would love to hear a story, Vince. What happened?
So I was doing my last minute Christmas shopping as per usual. I did that on Monday. Or no, on Friday.
Okay.
Last Friday I did
All
it.
right. All right.
I want to order baby J's, baby Jordans for the new baby in the family. Because
Yeah.
as far as my goal as to being an uncle for this baby, it's going to be like, how do we make this kid like the swaggiest kid we could possibly do?
It is
That's
a
my
fun
job.
uncle thing to do.
That's my job. So I order the Jordans and I'm like, oh, these aren't going to come for, I think it was like 8 days or something. Because I wanted to get him to match his nursery, get all cute with it. So I did that. They delivered the next day. And I
Yes.
don't know how. But kind of, though, because then my brother opened it and he's like, these are awesome. I'm like, you're not supposed to see these yet. Christmas is 5 days away.
I mean, they're for the kid, and he's not necessarily going to go, no, so it's more of a gift to your brother.
He'll just
right?
open his eyes and be like, and then poo and then sleep again. So,
Right. Yeah, he's
that's
not
his job.
It's more so the gift, you know, when he's coherent, right? When he's can think for himself around 3, 4, you know, he can look back and say, hey, remember your cute little baby J's.
Yeah.
Or, you know, when he's in elementary school and stuff like that, and he has his collection now from Uncle Vince. That is the thing. So, Vince, I thought of something the other day, and now that you're an uncle, and I watched it's a holiday film. I don't know if you consider it a holiday film. I consider it a holiday film. No, because it's based around Thanksgiving. Uncle Buck.
Oh, yeah.
So
Die Hard is a
draw the
Christmas movie, though.
So if you draw the parallels of you to Uncle Buck, you could draw a lot of parallels.
Really?
Like, you are the cool uncle that lives in Wrigleyville. And then not only that, I mean, he's more of a degenerate, right?
Yeah.
You're not. But like,
John Candy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I
like,
know this
if
movie.
you watch the movie, Kai and I were sitting there watching it, and she's like, that is so Vince. And I'm like, I know. And it's like a good thing because he's the cool uncle and he's no bullshit. And he's the guy you want to be around. and he's fun and he's happy and he's all these things. So, I just said, okay, yeah, Vince is like modern, cool Uncle Buck.
Uncle Buck. I like it, dude. A bachelor who babysits his older brother's children. That's literally going to be me, dude. So here we go.
Yes.
Here we go, dude.
Yes. So if you haven't watched Uncle Buck, it's a John Hughes classic. And you can see Macaulay Culkin in that movie before he ever starred in Home Alone. And it's also shot in the great town of Evanston, Illinois. So a lot of familiar things. A lot of familiar spots if you're from the Chicagoland area. So I'm jacked for Christmas. It's Christmas Eve. This is my favorite holiday. Mike's got his Christmas jammies on if you're on the YouTube.
That's the thing. Now it's awesome. The last 2 weeks was hell. Now it's awesome.
Well, I say this every year, but truly I believe next year I'm going to be on it more so that I have start. You're right. But start the Christmas shopping shortly before Thanksgiving and have it all done. And then this time you could just kick back, relax, and chill and do nothing.
Yeah. This is your reminder to make a note, and yours and everybody listening to this, make a note when people mention things throughout the year, update the note. I did it last year, and I made the note and then forgot that it existed. So I looked at the note, and it had nothing on it besides Christmas ideas 2024. So make the note and then update it throughout the year because it's useless if you don't.
Yeah, because people in your family are going to say, oh, I want that thing, or it's just in a passing conversation. And, if you remember those things, you get good points.
I had a whole conversation with my mom about I got to make sure I get you that this year for Christmas on Thanksgiving. And I could have sworn I updated that note, and god dang, I did not. Because it wasn't in there. So, but luckily, all the gifts are ready to go. I can say this since they're going to know at this point. I'm taking my mom to another musical. It's going to be great. Bought my dad a PlayStation controller because my dad's a gamer, dude. We got all these things taken care of. So
that's awesome. That, the experience thing is fun. That's something that you really can't get back.
She's a classic, I don't want anything person.
Yeah. What I just do is I take my parents out to dinner when they come here, or I buy them flights, or
perfect.
That's kind of the Christmas gift that I prefer to do, because that's what happens when you don't live in the same state anymore, right?
It's a gift to yourself as much as it is to them. So,
and in a selfish way, yes.
Yeah.
But I also get them out of the cold. Yeah, I'm getting my dad NASCAR tickets for the All-Star race in March.
Ooh.
And my dad's a big NASCAR guy. So that's
sick.
So I'm getting Pops. Yeah, he's going to love it.
I love it, dude.
Yeah, although as we do get older, Christmas is more so just being with the fam.
100%.
And I feel like as an adult, it's like there's something I really, really want. I'll just go buy it myself. I don't expect anybody to get me anything.
This is what I'm always saying. They're like, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, I don't know, because I'm kind of an impulsive buyer. Like, I'll just buy it for myself if I need it. Like, it's like, oh, this game looks cool. Buy.
Yeah. Wait till you see something you want. And you're like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, get that. All right.
Like
yeah,
this year I asked for a Lord of the Rings leatherback.
What the fuck is that?
Like a book.
What are you gonna do with that?
Read it, ideally.
But haven't you read the book already?
Only watched.
Oh,
yeah. A little inside baseball on me, dude. You know this, but I'm into the lore. I'm into the medieval fantasy shit. I love that stuff. So I ended up walking into a Barnes and Noble a couple weeks ago, and I was like, cool, this is like a leather version of Lord of the Rings. I want this. And then my house has a bunch of books just on display at all times. So just more books.
So that's going to be a display book /
Ideally, I should read it.
Book.
Will I read the whole thing? We'll see, but I definitely will be on display for maybe the rest of my life. So,
the women start doing these things as you live with them, and you'll realize that books are like an article of fashion that you can leave around the house and it looks nice. I guess.
Like table books, dude. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't read them. So what's the point of them? I went to go open our Louis Vuitton book that we have.
No, you can't do that. That's for decoration.
But I want to read the fucking book.
I know. You're a man. I'm a man. That's what books are for, reading, but they're not for some reason, dude. They're decoration. It's like I know which one you're talking about, and it's black and white, and it's beautiful, and it fits perfectly where it is. And if you take it off, then you're ruining the feng shui. So either you get smarter or you ruin the feng shui. You pick, dude.
What I love doing is moving all my wife's tchotchkes
I know she
around
will.
the house.
She
while
will
she's not
murder you
home.
for that. That
Well,
will
she's
be.
not home, and then she
Yeah.
gets home. She goes, "Why is that there?"
We
I'm
did.
like,
We did that on the
Like,
weekend
what?
I was there, and she's just like, "Why are you doing that?" And you're like, "It's
'Cause I'm
fun."
bored.
And she's like, "To you, not to me."
Great. Oh, I just know it drives her crazy, and sometimes
Yep.
I like to drive the lady crazy.
That's love, babe.
You know what drives people crazy, Vince?
Bad dumps.
Well, or extremely good dumps. I mean,
True.
come on. Have you ever taken a good dump in your life?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, let's face it. And then if you added a what is it, a bidet to that picture? Man,
Yeah.
quality dumping.
Tickle my Cheerio, dude. Come on. I love it.
Tickle the starfish. So
Yeah.
with that being said, you know who else likes those good dumps is the head coach of NIU football. Don't even know his name. But he was interviewed yesterday after the Idaho Potato
Thomas
Bowl.
Hammock.
Thomas Hammock was dumped on potatoes. And
Yeah. What do they call it? Fry bath? French fry bath?
Yeah, it was like a French fry bath where they just dump a bunch of fries on him after the winning coach wins the Potato Bowl in Idaho. They play on the blue field. And he said in his post-game interview, they asked him, how was the dump of fries? And he goes, "Oh, they were salty." He's like, "But man, that's the best dump of my life.
Best dump of my career, quote unquote."
Yes. I would love that. I would love that. I mean, this guy's elite. You got to love him. I mean, Vince, I know you're not the biggest fan of him because he beat your beloved Domers, but
I've actively avoided them this year because the one bad spot on Notre Dame's record this year was NIU. This has been talked about ad nauseum by everybody I know, and why Notre Dame's a fraud and why they'll never win a playoff game. First off, wrong, idiots. Second off, I don't hate the guy because, like, if you can, you should beat a team like that. That was very cool. That was my take when it happened, where I'm like, that's good. Like, you should be confident about this. You just beat a team. That's awesome. This guy's the man. I like him. He's fun. They didn't have as good of a year after the Notre Dame win as they hoped that they would. But shit, as far as a consolation's concerned, going out there and getting French fries dumped on you, dude, come on. Also, he's not a small fella, so you could tell he likes a couple 2-tree French fries when he's by himself. So,
he's a big dude. He's a big kid.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, he's not a kid, but he's a big dude.
Oh yeah.
And then also we have a new QB name. Last year was Rocky Lombardi. Now I don't even know this. Okay, here we're gonna find out this kid's
what
name.
NIU's quarterback?
NIU's quarterback is Greeker than Greek. He is the Greekest Greek of Greeks.
I'm seeing
Josh.
George Demopoulos.
George Demopoulos. What? Oh, this kid either goes to St. Nectarios or something, but George Demopoulos, he is the new Greek freak. I love him. Congrats, George.
He came in for, well, first off, not a quarterback. Played quarterback, one throw, one touchdown. He's a receiver. He's from Crystal Lake, Illinois, so right by the hometown. The kid.
Right by the hometown. Shout out to George Demopoulos.
Yeah, this kid just looks Greek too. He is a Greek man. You know, NIU goes 4-4 in conference, 8-5 on the year. It is what it is. But George Demopoulos, congratulations, 6'2", 195 wide receiver. Maybe he has a future. We'll see what ends up happening. This is something I want to bring this up because this happens to me a lot. Do you ever try to go and look up somebody on Google? So you like look up some football player, some obscure one that maybe a lot of people don't research, and their pictures aren't updated correctly? If you type in George Demopoulos, ESPN has a picture of a man that looks like Jaden Daniels. Then you click on it and you get a broccoli-haired 6'2" young man that's Greek that looks like George Demopoulos. This guy does not look anything close to a George Demopoulos.
That looks like Jaden Demopoulos.
It has Jaden Daniels all over it, dude. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. You could already see it on the top corner there, but like That's not George Demopoulos.
That's not Demopoulos.
No, it's not. Like, get out of
That's
here.
that's not a George Demopoulos.
So yeah, go ahead and look that up. Go ahead and look that up, guys.
That's a George DeJoneses.
Yeah, that's Jade Daniels right there.
Well, no, shout out to him. Like I said, we got a new NIU name. Last year we had Italian. This year we're going Greek. At least those two.
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Stick to the Mediterranean, baby.
Stick to the Mediterranean. Now, a sub, strange and unusual. There was a separate broadcast for the Ohio State-Tennessee game. I don't know if you caught this with Connor Scott on the McAfee broadcast talking about busting in people's faces. Did anybody?
What? No.
Okay. So Boston Connor of the Pat McAfee show.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Was visibly tuned up. And basically, he said on live television, and I don't know what the repercussions of ESPN are going to be with this, but this is the problem when you employ a bunch of idiots who make a lot of money and you give them the means to get
You
drunk
say
on
idiots,
live
I say actually funny, not fake bullshit.
Correct. I mean, if they gave us the crack, we'd take it in 3 seconds. So I hope there's nothing crazy because I like Boston Connor. He said that basically, in quote, Ohio State was looking to bust in the face of Tennessee, and the Buckeye is technically a nut, so they're looking to bust the nut.
What TMZ is saying. So Connor was patrolling the Tennessee sidelines and went on to say Ohio State superfan known as Big Nut was busting his nut on the faces of volunteer fans. Which, tis the season, Nutcracker. He's Big Nut. The Nutcracker busts the nut on Tennessee. This is not sexual. Just get your head out of the gutter. He's talking
Get your head out of the gutter,
He's talking about breaking open the nut and busting it all over people. Not in a sexual way. That's crazy. No, you guys are perverts, dude.
Not in only cans way.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, only cans.
Come on, we can't
You guys
say
are
that
perverts, dude. Grow up.
You guys are perverts. Boston Scott's funny. All right. Another funny, Vince, was surrounding your Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Yeah.
So
Alabama Jones, is that what we're talking about?
Oh, this is fantastic. So basically, and this is a wonderful segue into more college football, but Vince, as we all know, his Notre Dame Golden Domers played Curt Cignetti's Indiana, right? So Curt Cignetti
notoriously blows out top 25 teams, Mike, all the time. They don't beat them; they blow them out.
No, go look at.
Did you look at his record? The last time he blew out a ranked team was in 2018. I think, or 2019
against and they played
Coastal Carolina, and they were 23rd, and they won 47-7. Yeah, he hasn't beaten a ranked team since then.
Well, Nebraska was ranked when they played him,
right? And they beat him by what, like a touchdown?
No, they beat him. It was like
I don't think it was. Oh, because they're not ranked now at the end of the season. Right, I remember that actually now, but still,
at that point, Nebraska was ranked. Now there's a lot of hype that Dylan Raiola might transfer, aka Fat Mahomes.
What is he going to go? Texas Tech?
I have no idea. Yeah, that would be priceless.
That would.
But either way, Shane Gillis, the comedian of the millennials, I'd like to call him, because he's ours.
Love that he's an ND fan. I love it.
He is a huge Notre Dame fan from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And most notably is like the Notre Dame guy.
Yep.
And bleeds blue and gold, and or navy and gold.
Green and all that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So they had him on pregame and talking about Curt Cignetti talking a bunch of shit and how he didn't like it and said he should be in the locker room with his players. And that was a piss poor move on his part, which
he's
I do
talking
agree
to
with.
Saban. He's like, you wouldn't be out here. You'd be with your team. He's like, you're right. I would be.
And then proceeded to call out Nick Saban for paying SEC players before NIL.
Dude.
And that's the ballsiest move I've seen anybody play on live television.
First off, definitely had 1 to 2 to 3 Bud Lights in him already. For sure.
Oh,
he's on
drinking.
College game day, and he goes like, Yeah, SEC teams would never pay players. Like, they never did that. And he's like looking at Nick Saban, clearly perturbed. And then he's like, oh, I thought this was a funny program. You can't be funny? And they're like, you could be funny. You could totally be funny. He's like, I don't know. Alabama Jones over there isn't laughing to Nick Saban.
It is the best dig. It is fantastic.
Notre Dame fans have they despise Nick Saban a little bit. Respect,
Why?
yes, because the last time we played in a national championship, Alabama pulled an NIU and took the biggest dump of their life all over Notre Dame. So there's I think it's like all bets are off. Like McAfee takes IU, like F McAfee, like screw it all, screw Kurt Signetti. I was talking so much shit all Saturday. My Instagram was just Notre Dame all over the place. Like it was essentially my Super Bowl. I get it. But we need more of this as a university that plays football. Like Notre Dame needs more of this. It's usually like, good academics, like nice Catholic guys coming to play games. Like not a lot of shit, not a lot of SEC type shit talk. We need more of this. This is good, where it's like, come at me, bitch. That's essentially what Shane Gillis said the whole time, and it worked in our favor this time. So I 100% with it. Alabama Jones, baby.
Well, Vince, I mean, to get into it now, so let's talk about some college football. So,
yes,
as you know, all of the beginnings of the college football playoff began over this past weekend, and it was a lovely Saturday of football. If you got a chance to watch all of it, you may have been a little underwhelmed. It started on Friday night with Vince's Golden Gomers, and
I was going to say the college football playoff starts in South Bend, Indiana, baby. Never forget it.
It starts in South Bend, Indiana. Yeah, it did. And Vince was all worried, and I heard numerous terrible, terrible takes about how, IU has a real shot in winning this game, and I don't know if they stack up on paper, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, the whole time, they're not even in the same class.
Everybody loved them, Mike. Everybody loved them.
Get it.
They were like, oh, they're the Cinderella team. Signetti comes in here, turns the program around. Notre Dame hasn't played anybody all year. IU hasn't played anybody all year. Maybe we're And
I said it last week when Vince is losing his mind. I don't know, Mike. I don't know. I'm like,
what do you expect me to do?
I get it.
Do you want me to come in here and say, we're just going to fuck them up, and then we don't, and then I'm just getting roasted for that?
I hope you know, as a third party who doesn't have a ton of sweat in the game, because I'm not notably a Notre Dame fan, even though I'm rolling with you this
You're just
playoff.
supporting your friend, which I appreciate.
Supporting a friend. Dude, I'm telling you, this team, they're really fucking good, and they outclassed Indiana on Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
It was not a game. From snap one, Indiana was outmatched, and you could just see it. Defensively, stifling on the other side of the football, Notre Dame is. And then not only that, but man, what Jeremiah Love, if this kid doesn't get drafted to play day 1 or 2, I would be highly.
He's a second rounder, maybe a third rounder, just because that's how running backs do. He is a state champion sprinter, number 1.
A freak.
Number 2, he had a ankle injury that was maybe going to keep him out, and then not even 4 drives into the game, he breaks off for a 98-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
So clearly they were on one. Notre Dame has had one of the best defenses all year, and the argument's always been they're not playing a lot of good teams. They had a harder schedule than IU, honestly. So comparatively, the biggest gripe, and that's what everybody's been talking about, is like Riley Leonard can't throw the ball. He threw the ball pretty decent this game. IU's defense is a lot different than the rest of the defenses right now in the playoff, outside of maybe like Boise. Curtis Rourke, everybody's been S in his D, for lack of a better term, all year. Minute you get out there, South Bend's banging, like loud as shit. It's cold. Obviously, Indiana knows how to play in the cold too, but like you could tell that like he wasn't able to hear. Gets off onto the schneid actually with the pick right at the beginning of the game. Momentum the entire game until the fourth quarter was just Notre Dame's destroying them the whole time. Like I wasn't sweating the whole time, and then all I saw at the end was like, okay, Notre Dame's like kind of giving up right now. There's like, whatever, we already won this. Can't do that against another team. So that scares me a little bit, where like they give up 14 in the fourth. in garbage time. I get all that, but like, I didn't expect them to beat them like this. Like, I know it was a 10-point game,
did.
but it was like a 20-point game the entire game until the end.
To the contrary, I did. They let the foot off the gas in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They were up by 3 touchdowns.
2 minutes left, 2
basically
touchdowns gave up. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, I think Marcus Freeman wanted to give some of his younger guys a shot to play in a playoff game. And I mean, how many opportunities can you do that? Or maybe some seniors who are
Dude, he's so
probably
handsome.
gone. Who, Freeman?
Yeah. We
Oh,
might
yeah.
have the most handsome coach in college football.
He's a good-looking cat. I mean, that's no doubt about it. Not only that, he signed an extension. Young dude.
Good.
Has proven himself as a head coach. I'm all for it. I love those stories, right? I love when guys rise from the ashes and have their phoenix, in quote,
Dude,
no
and you
pun
go from
intended.
Brian Kelly to that? What a difference, man. Oh,
One of my favorite
videos was on the sideline? No, thank you.
Well, one of my favorite things about this whole situation was when they announced Marcus Freeman as the head coach permanent. That team lost its fucking mind in happiness, and they were so just ready for him to take over and be at the helm, and he's done a tremendous job of doing so. You can't really say anything else. Now, does he need to figure out where he sits some of these middle games, because they play the really shitty teams really shitty and the really good. So I take it for now, but in the future you got to smoke the bad teams.
If you have a decision to make, like, I'll take that over the Brian Kelly.
I'd agree.
I'll take that over like, the James Franklins of the world. Like, once you get an Ixnay this week, obviously, but if you can't beat any good teams, like, Notre Dame gets up for good teams. And I think they learned, because they say they talk about NIU every single week. We're like, remember when that shit happened? Can't do that. We can't do that.
Of course they're going to bring that up because it's where the world sits right now. You're going to bring up the negatives. You look at.
Well, not even that, just more like,
students.
hey, if we take the foot off the gas, this could happen, regardless of who it is. So, like,
True.
maybe that was a learning lesson. I hope it was.
It was. Now, speaking of the rest of these games, now, Vince, you can really start your sports anxiety with the fact that now Notre Dame has to go on to play Georgia.
Backup quarterback, it's not impossible. Might be a
not
close
impossible.
game.
It's going to be a very, very fun game to watch.
Not confident, but hey, here we go.
I mean, I'm just saying that defense against your quarterback, I'm concerned for you.
Yeah, but this defense against a backup quarterback, I'm not saying we're going to win, but I'm just saying, like, it's not. Carson Beck's playing and they're firing at all signals. I don't think there's a chance we win this game. Our defense.
I don't believe in Carson Beck that much.
So. Yeah, me either, but he's just been starting for so long. And like,
he's
Kirby
a
Smart
horny
against
little boy.
He is a horny boy. But, a quarterback with less experience, Kirby Smart not playing Alabama, so they're going to be playing really well. But also, like, I don't know how many gadget running teams they play in a year in the SEC. A lot of those teams are airing the ball out a lot.
I think Georgia's really going to lean on the running game. You got the young ETN over there. I think he's going to get a lot of work. And I mean, granted, that lends towards Notre Dame's defense and what they stop, which is the run.
Yeah. And you got an All-American defensive back there who looks, dude, Xavier Watts looks like a linebacker. So many people this weekend watch Notre Dame for like the first time they have all year, and they're like, who's that guy? Is he your middle linebacker? I'm like, no, that's our fucking strong safety. And he's an All-American, dude. He's Brian Urlacher reincarnate. It's crazy.
Well, that's kind of interesting, because to hear you say that, maybe, just maybe, you look at a guy like him and maybe he does get moved to middle linebacker at the next level.
Good.
Just due to sheer size. That's not the last time or probably first time that'll ever happen.
We do the Kyle Hamiltons. We get those guys out there. We're like, he's an oversized safety. And you're like, yeah, but he's good. And Kyle Hamilton's been good in the NFL. Like,
Kyle Hamilton's been great in the NFL. So is a lot of, I mean, look at Minka Fitzpatrick. Just consistent all-pro, another unit. Now, granted, you played at Alabama, but just saying, you want a big safety. It's not a problem. Right. Now, to kind of lean on the thought process of underwhelming, I think is the best word to look at the rest of this college football playoff docket.
Yeah.
Because the rest of these games weren't even close. The one game I had hoping of being close, Ohio State and Tennessee.
Buddy.
Not even close from moment one. It looked like Tennessee had some momentum to start that first drive. They seemingly got a sack on Will Howard, face mask called. Will Howard, next play, dime, end zone.
They've played great defense all year, and then today they were like help wanted signs everywhere. Like what?
It was horrible.
Ohio State's offense has been so bad the last like 5 weeks. And then they were just like, hey, how about we decide to run the ball a little bit more and let's throw it to maybe the best wide receiver in the nation? Like, oh, good idea. Great game plan, Ryan Day. You figured it out, dude.
Yeah.
And
shout out to Ryan Day for figuring that out.
Young. Nico's so young, dude.
He's a young Polynesian boy. He needs to learn a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the game. I mean, both of us took Tennessee money line, not thinking they were going to win, but just like it's the most possible. You know, the odds were there for it. Ohio State's good, man. Maybe Ohio State to Michigan is like Georgia to Alabama, where it's like we'll beat everybody else, but we just won't beat them. We just don't have a team that we can.
Well, now Ohio State's got to go play Oregon, which this game is maybe the best rematch I've seen in a long time. I'm excited for it. I mean, you do look at Jeremiah Smith as a true freshman. He looks like the second coming of just
Maserati Marv, dude. He's doing it again.
This is what they do. This is what they do. They just produce tremendous talent. And you can't discount Travion Henderson, 10 carries, 80 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that defense just, it couldn't stop a nosebleed if it tried.
Yep.
And they were just on the field constantly on defense. The offense, 4 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And yeah, Nico is very young and has a long way to go. And it also helps that their all SEC running back was hurt in the first quarter and didn't play basically the rest of the game. So
true, but you know, you got to play through injuries at this point. And like, it wasn't, the thing is like, you can make that excuse if it was like a 2-score game. Like Ohio State was beating them by like 40 in the first quarter. It was like over before it started.
Yeah, it was not necessarily a game you were like, oh man, can't wait to watch the rest of this, because it was just truly a beatdown of.
Well, the good thing is that you got really lucky before and you watched another great game, Penn State and SMU. What a game!
Oh man,
Kevin Jennings, he couldn't hear. Happy Valley was so loud that he couldn't hear, and all he was doing was just throwing interceptions and just throwing the ball wherever the fuck he wanted. Second half, he figured it out, but like Penn State shut him down at the beginning, and he never had a chance.
So game day was there, and they were on a hot mic with Kevin Jennings before the game.
Yeah.
And Nick Saban was like, well, you're in a really tough environment. You've never played in anything quite like it. You're cold, I could tell, because you're blowing on your hands. What makes you think you're going to be able to win this game? And he's like, yeah, coach, it's pretty cold out here. Not something we're necessarily used to, but we're just going to have to play through it. And Saban was just like, uh-huh.
He's
and
fucked. He was just like,
pretty much.
So
I mean,
fucked.
Saban just was telling him, you're dead in the water, dude. Just good luck.
And he was.
Yeah, Penn State smoked them 38-10. It wasn't even close.
But we knew this was going to happen.
And this is the problem, because when you look at it, if
BCS,
Alabama,
bitch. Come on,
right, let BCS be a thing again. Let the 11th seed play the 12th seed, and let's move on with our lives, because it would have been far more fun to watch, you know, Clemson play SMU again, or watch, you know, maybe Indiana play Penn State. Maybe that's a bigger or a little bit better, or Notre Dame play Penn State. That would have been so much more fun.
That would have been fun. That would
have been so much better of a game. And then you, as a Notre Dame fan, have a little bit more to sweat about.
Yeah.
Or go play
I
Clemson.
was sweating.
I don't know.
I was sweating. We know this for sure.
I know you were sweating, but you had no reason to.
And then the game started, and I'm like, I'm not sweating anymore. It was like right
and I know we're kind of going all over the board, but you look at that game as well. I mean, it just wasn't even close. The committee just needs to be disbanded. Disband the committee, or let the committee pick everybody's schedule.
Yeah.
Give them real fucking work.
Right.
Let
Instead
the
of just being
pick,
like, I like Southern Methodist. You're like, okay. And you're like, all right, now we're going to decide everything that we do because you're a little giggly about them this year. Like, that's horrible.
Because good old Dabo came out after winning, the ACC championship against SMU. They're really good.
Speaking of.
Okay. Yeah, that game was close for 2 seconds.
First quarter, you're like, uh-oh. What's up, Quinn? What are we doing? And then the second quarter happened. And you're like, oh, it's over already. Damn. Like it was 10 to 28 or whatever at halftime. And you're like, okay, this is also a blowout. It was just ridiculous.
Jadon Blue, this kid ran amok. 14 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just have a day.
Texas is better with the halfback, man.
Well, they need a good running game in Texas, right? I mean, think about Ricky Williams and all that. Now,
think
this
about
game
Ricky
was
Williams. Think about Priest Holmes backing him up. Think about Bijan and Roschon Johnson. Like, they always have a 2 tandem that's good if they're going to play well.
It looked like they were knocking on the door, though. Clemson in the second half, getting into the fourth quarter. They had a couple drives. They were close, but that defense just too much for the Clemson Tigers to handle. Cade Klubnik, however the hell you pronounce his name, had a fairly decent game, but that pick really sealed the deal.
Bad.
It's just one of these situations once again. Texas maybe should have played Tennessee or Ohio State or something along the lines where you don't give free passes now, because as we look in the future,
you could say Tennessee or Ohio State, but I would argue like maybe Texas should have had a bye and maybe Arizona State should have had to play somebody. Like there's a couple teams where you're like, why are you even playing right now?
Well, let's move forward now. So let's look at this. So now Penn State will play fucking Boise State at the Fiesta Bowl.
It's such horseshit. Oregon should be getting Boise State. There's no reason that Oregon should be playing Ohio State this week. It's crazy.
Right. And then, okay, so you have 2 teams that are on the opposite side of the spectrum. One's a Big Ten powerhouse school, and the other's playing in the MAC or the SWAC or whatever the fuck it is. I mean, how are you supposed to say that those 2 conferences are aligned in difficulty? They're not, just for the record. And then you have an SEC team playing a Big 12 team.
Yeah.
Who, granted, Scadaboo's been a tremendous story, and you see him all over local TV here in Arizona and dealerships and NIL this and NIL that. And he's probably going to play on Sunday. But he's not going to win you a natty. I'm sorry. I
when they have to play Texas. What?
Scadaboo's in for a rude awakening.
Technically, Arizona State's ranked higher than Texas. You're like, what are we talking about?
Well, no, they're not. They're ranked 12th, and Texas is 3rd. So
I know, but in the bracket, like seeding, I mean.
So these conference winners ultimately should not be given the amount of credibility that they are in the committee itself.
Clearly.
Just how much money do you need to make or spend in order to be a part of it? Because the podcast here will be in, and Notre Dame and USC will be in every year, contrary to popular belief.
Let's play grain of salt, though. This is year 1 of a brand new program. I have deep feeling that this won't be an issue again next year, the way that it is now. It became abundantly clear. We knew beforehand, but it became abundantly clear when they were playing the game. And you're like, what is this? Like, what are we doing right now? It's just, I cannot imagine. Maybe it goes differently. Arizona State's been very hot. I cannot imagine Texas not destroying Arizona State. And also, Ashton Jeanty, we all love him. It's been great all year. Ashton Jeanty hasn't had to play Penn State. Ashton Jeanty hasn't had to play 50% of Penn State this year. Like, if you think he's going to take off and go for 350 this game, like, he probably won't. Well, especially when they know that Boise's not going to be able to throw the ball at all.
No. Boise's not going to – I mean, once again, that defense –
And then meanwhile, the best team in the country has to play the second best team in the Big Ten. Like, how did this happen? We knew this was going to happen, but how did this happen?
Once again, to your point, grain of salt, I understand it. I just can't wrap my mind around how all these, like, the only 2 games really I'm looking forward to
is at the top of the bracket.
Yeah, it's Ohio State, Oregon, and Notre Dame, Georgia. Those teams are equally aligned. Yeah. That is going to be a really nice 6 hours of football.
And then the other 6, you're going to be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Mike, crazy idea. Big 10, SEC, better than the Big 12 and the, what is Midwest, whatever the hell it's called. I can't even think of the name of it.
I don't know.
What is that? What is that? That's the problem. It's like,
all right, let's go look at all the conferences.
I was going to say, I'm just going to pull it up. Mountain West, Jesus. I just had such a hard time remembering that.
Mountain West Conference. There you go. It's ultimately what's going to happen. If this is what's going to be the new era, it's very Norman Nate thought process that we're going to have 2 mega conferences.
The text messages I was getting from Norman Nate on Friday were just beautiful.
Oh yeah, he will show love when it's meant to show love.
Wonderful.
Now, for the rest of this, I don't see a scenario where I don't know. I don't see a scenario
Oregon
where
better win. Oregon better win, dude.
Well, I mean, it's going to be a neutral site game, Rose Bowl. Rose Bowls are always great games, so I'm excited for it.
Ohio State travels, but Rose Bowl, for all intents and purposes, is a home game for Oregon.
I wouldn't say that's a home game.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump versus going to more than half of the country.
It's a 3-hour flight. They'll get there 2 days before. I mean, they'll be just fine as far as acclimating to time.
I'm saying fans.
2 hours.
I'm saying fan travel.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But then again, Ohio State has a lot of boosters and a lot of money, and they're going to travel well. They always do. And there's a lot, just like Notre Dame fans, there's a lot of you pocketed fans and closeted fans across the country.
Yep.
And they show up whenever, their team is playing or whatever hat they want to wear that day. So there's that portion of the thought process. So
what do you mean whatever hat, dude? If you're a Notre Dame fan, you're a Notre Dame fan. Better for worse.
That's not true.
All I do all of the time is get shit on for being a Notre Dame fan all over the place.
Not at all. I'm not shitting on you.
No, I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying, like, I will go about and just, like, post something about it and be like, Notre Dame's fucking fake and they're lame. And you're like, what the who do you like? It's like, well, I like Georgia. I'm like, where are you from? Like, why are you a Georgia fan? Like, sometimes it just doesn't make sense to me.
See, now, I stick to my guns, and I unfortunately root for sad teams. We've discussed this ad nauseum. Now, Lane Kiffin kind of agrees with the thought process of the committee because he called the committee out on Twitter.
Yeah, but he got
Joe Klatt snapped back at this boy.
Yeah.
And oh boy, was it, he pretty much told Lane that, Lane, you had every opportunity to be here and you fucked it up.
He's right.
Yeah.
Like, he got mad at the committee for all of the seating shit. This is the same thing with Alabama. This is the same thing with Alabama getting mad and being like, we have to pay more money to make sure people know who we are. It's like, dude, win games. The only argument you can make against it is like maybe Alabama should go to the Mountain West so they can just go undefeated every year and get a bye. Like that's the only thing you can argue. But like, yeah, Lane, like I don't know if Ole Miss is like even in the what do they call it when you're on the bubble? It's like the first 2 out or whatever. Like Ole Miss was like 4 away from getting in.
A home loss to Kentucky really blew up your spot. Now, granted, you beat Georgia at home.
They had a couple big wins, yeah.
They had a couple really big wins, but they also had some pretty terrible losses.
Yeah.
So, you can't lose to Kentucky and think you're going to get selected. You also can't lose to LSU.
Right.
In Death Valley. You can't do that. Not in the SEC. When you're losing to SEC opponents that are lesser than you, I like Lane a lot. I always have.
Yeah.
Hungover King, FAU Owls. Go Owls.
That was so funny.
I mean, it's my favorite. It's just how everybody should be the day after New Year's Eve. I think Joe Klatt's right. I like Joe Klatt's content. I think Joe Klatt is one of the best college football analysts there are.
Make it undeniable, right?
Yeah.
If you want to really make it in the playoffs, then make it impossible to say no to you. Yeah,
but then to our argument, Boise State, Arizona State, and SMU probably didn't have a lot of business being ranked where they were. So
that's the thing. I don't know if I disagree with the teams that made it. I disagree with how the seeding went. Correct.
Okay.
So maybe Arizona State played really well at the end of the year. Like Boise played considerably well, but they weren't bye teams. That's kind of where my argument goes. Not like, like people said Alabama should have made it. I don't fucking agree. I don't agree. Like, they didn't play better than they were closer to the middle of the pack as far as like the top 25 is concerned than they were to the top.
Well, there should be some evaluation of how the teams are picked to play one another. The conference champions, to the point, should not necessarily receive all the clout that they're getting.
Yeah.
And moving forward, there should be some things here that in my opinion, change. Maybe you go back to the BCS concept. You now have 12, and you keep it this way and see how it plays next year and kind of formulate it to that. And you let the committee still have their existence in picking those top 12 teams.
Yeah.
But you play as you're ranked. And I
think the conference championship should make it, but I don't think they should have an auto top 4 seed. A conference champion, like, get all the teams that you think are going to make it and then seed them accordingly. Even if, like, Texas didn't win the SEC, they probably should have been 3rd.
They probably should have played Penn State, to your point.
They probably should have got a bye.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they wouldn't. Like, there's an argument where Penn State should have gotten a bye, too. Or, I don't think Notre Dame should have, but, like, you could have made that argument over Arizona State.
That's the problem when you don't play in a conference, Vince.
Right. Well, I know I was totally cool with 5 all year. We should have gotten 5. I don't know why we got 7th. That was stupid. We got 7th because Arizona State got a bye for some fucking reason.
Well, and we've kind of alluded to it, but let's get our picks in for New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. So as we got the Fiesta Bowl here, local to AZ. We got Penn State playing Boise State. Your thoughts?
Penn State beats them by like maybe 3 touchdowns.
Okay. So you think Drew Allers is going to go out and ball out?
I do, but more than anything, and that isn't an Ashton Genty hater thing because I've been getting that a lot recently too. I don't think he's going to be as successful with the team that he has against a Big Ten team like this that clearly is good at defense. Like, I think he's going to be good. He probably still will get over 100 yards, but like, they win mostly if he's like hitting that 225 range. And I don't think you can do that against Penn State, regardless of who you are.
This is very true. I like your thought process. I agree. I think Penn State's going to be hyper-focused on Genty. And this is going to be, in my eyes, his first real test next to Oregon.
Yep.
When they played Oregon the first week 2, I think, it was... you were kind of jury's out on this Jenny guy, and all the eyes weren't on him as they are now as a Heisman finalist and breaking every record, rushing record in the NCAA over the past 20 years. Now it's all about, okay, we got to stop that guy and take him away and now see if you can beat us.
A big thing with college football, too, in my opinion, is like week 2 and week 12 or 13 or whatever we're in now are 2 different ball games, baby.
Oh,
like week 2, I mean, Texas A&M, Notre Dame, week 1 was amazing, and then week 2 was NIU, and it's like, everything kind of came back to center. You could say that about most teams, where you're like, oh, they're really good, they're going to be great. Like, South Carolina was horrible in week 2, and then they ended up just putting together a crazy – they almost made the playoff this year. Like, that's – shit changes throughout the year, man.
It does change, and as you get more film on people as well. So, to the point, Penn State, give me 14 plus points. Yeah. All right, now let's go to the Peach Bowl. Texas, Arizona State being played in Georgia. Vince, your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's playing in Georgia, and it's Arizona versus Texas, who has one of the biggest fan bases, so they're going to have home field probably already. I feel the same way about this game. I feel like it could be 2 touchdowns. I feel like it could be more. Arizona State's been on a heat.
Similar concept. Take one guy away and see if you can beat us.
Well, and they've been on a heater, and the worst thing to happen when you're on a heater is you don't play for a week. They got real comfortable and calm probably in the last 2 weeks. Like, now they got to play fucking Texas? Like, good luck, dude.
Yeah, now it's like, what's the old line from Mike Tyson? Everybody thinks they're a baller until you get punched in the mouth.
Yep.
I think Arizona State needs to be ready to get punched in the mouth because I think Texas is ready to give it to them. And I think it's a similar thought process. Texas 2 touchdowns plus. Yeah,
they're good, man.
Texas plus 10. I think that's how I'm looking at it. So, okay, we're in alliance. All right, now let's go to a game we may think opposite of. All right, let's talk about the Rose Bowl. Ohio State coming off of arguably one of their best wins in the year and giving it to a Tennessee who thought they were high and mighty. Proverbial nut in the face of the Tennessee fans.
Right. Proverbial nut is so funny. Let me show you my proverbial nut.
Proverbial cracking of a chestnut. What are your thoughts for good old Ohio State at Oregon playing the Rose Bowl?
Oregon has been good at the beginning of the year, and then they were good at the end of the year, and they were only good this year, and they haven't lost a game, and they played Ohio State and they beat them, and I know second time you play them, it's different. There is no reason in my head to believe that Oregon's going to lose this game because they haven't. It's like, I can't tell you why they would lose it because they haven't lost a game this year. And they're the only team that hasn't done it. It's going to be close. It's going to be within a score. Like if the line's 7.5, take the under. Like Oregon's going to win this game, but they're probably going to win by 3 or 7.
So the first time these two teams played, it was in Oregon.
Yep.
And it went down to the final seconds.
Yeah.
And Will Howard made a bonehead play of sliding with 2 seconds left and not throwing the Hail Mary.
He's pretty good at that.
There were a couple calls there late that were just like, yo, you've let them play all day and now you're giving Oregon some freebies, which I hope this game is officiated by an officiating crew outside of the conference. So there's no question that it was fair. Now, looking at this game, I think it's going to be physical. I think whoever out physicals the other team is going to win. I think Ohio State, for them, once again, Day is coaching for his job. They have some of the best wide receiving talent in the country. Oregon's just so fast. We'll see if that defense can keep up with their speed. To your point, they've had a week off now. They let off the gas a little bit. Ohio State now, one terrible loss at home to Michigan. Now a big win at home in the playoff. Now traveling to Cali to play Oregon. It's a pick 'em, and I think the margin's going to be 3 to 3.5, maybe even 2.5.
I could see that.
I think you see some potential defensive touchdowns here if Dylan Gabriel plays to his ability and the lights aren't too bright. This is the brightest the lights have ever been for him.
This is his test. This is
a test for Gabriel for sure. A lot of people are like, if he was on Oklahoma, Oklahoma would be in the Natty right now. I'm like, no.
No, I know, but you've been a loud DG hater.
I think he's very good, but you look at what Dan Lanning's put around him.
He's a great coach. He's a great coach.
He's a great coach. Guy's a dog. Their offensive line's sick. They're becoming kind of an offensive line factory. You think of Penei Sewell. You think of the talent they have right now. Think of how fast they are on offense with that talent, with the running backs. And then not only that, an unlimited bag of NIL money from Phil Knight. So Oregon's everybody's lean. I think Ohio State actually has a shot to win this game. All right, Vince.
They have a shot. I don't think they're going to do it. But so you're taking Ohio State, you're taking Oregon.
Give me Ohio State.
Okay.
I thought they were going to win the first game. I think they have a shot.
I know, but Will Howard, dude.
Will Howard has games where you're like, damn, he's a guy.
I know, but when he needs to clutch up, like they win games, they win games.
Well,
close
to
games.
The point.
Michigan blew the close game. Oregon blows the close game.
Okay, to the point, this is a test for each quarterback to go. Okay, so now the lights are brighter than they ever been for both guys, both transfers, one from Kansas State, one from Oklahoma. All right, now you're in the Rose Bowl. Who's going to be the better of the two?
Yeah.
And I think Ohio State's defense right now is playing lights out.
They're very good, man.
They're very good. So
some would argue the best in the country.
Oregon, you got to remember, Oregon got 30+ put on them by Drew Aller.
Who is another guy that sometimes he can do it. Sometimes he's got that in his bag.
Well, he's still young, and it's his first year starting.
Next year too. So
yeah, I like Drew Aller. Drew Aller's smart. I think he coming back for his senior year may be the best quarterback in the league next year, unless there's somebody who comes out before it. But
yeah,
pay attention. All right, Vince, the game of games, the games we've all been waiting for. You're Notre Dame Fighting Irish playing Georgia in the Sugar Bowl.
I'm going to be one of 4 people in the world that take Notre Dame on this game. I have to.
Right.
They're my boys, and we're not letting this end now. Probably will, but it's okay because I'm going to. The argument I have is defensive statistics and the fact that they're not playing their starter from all year. Now, like, Carson Beck wasn't blowing anybody up by all means this year. UCL injury, he's out for the game. A couple things as far as defensive statistics are concerned. Clearly, Notre Dame has a good defense. Obviously, it's been ad nauseum. We've said it. They're 8th in total defense this year. So defensive average yards, 295. So they're under 300 for the year. They're 8th. Georgia's not in that. Georgia plays harder people. I understand that. Passing defense, they're 4th. So they allow 162.3. And they've only allowed 11 passing touchdowns this year so far. So that's another one. Again, depending on who they're going against. They are kind of open to getting screwed on the ground. They also played a lot of ground-based teams, which doesn't help, but they are open to getting screwed on the ground. The biggest thing I want to talk about is scoring defense. Points allowed on average is about 2 touchdowns, 13.8 in the year. If they can at least keep Georgia down on scoring, then that allows them to keep the ball on the ground and not have to air it out a lot, and they're able to play more gadget. Georgia's a better team overall. They're built better. They've played in a harder conference or in a conference in general. So all of that, I'm just saying it's not impossible. And I'm saying, like, there's a chance here where Notre Dame's such a weird team that they haven't played. Georgia hasn't played a team like this essentially all year. So that's my argument. Defense wins championships. That's what they say. And Notre Dame's defense has been as good, if not better, than Georgia this year. So if you're going to go with something, you're going to go with that.
Well, we'll see. It's going to
You're
be a
Georgia,
defensive
right?
battle. Difficult.
Yeah,
it's difficult for me not to take Georgia this week. I hate to say that, and I know that you're.
No skin
I'm
off my
rooting
nose.
for,
I get it.
Let's put it this way. I'm rooting for you, but I just don't believe that there is a world where Notre Dame beats them. Now, if this kid comes out and plays his best game ever, and it's just Notre Dame had no shot. I don't think that's going to be the case. Yeah. I still think the winning margin here is easy 3.5, 2.5. I think these are very close games if you look at it on paper.
No one's scoring 45 in this game. It's going to be low scoring.
It's going to look a lot like the Texas game.
Yeah.
It's going to look a lot like it. So I am not sold completely on Georgia winning the game, nor am I sold on Notre Dame. My only fear for Notre Dame is they're not going to be able to run the football the way they would like to in order to win the way they would like to win.
Yeah. Okay. And we need to, because that's all we got.
You do. You really do.
Yeah.
So those are our picks. Well, I'm stoked for New Year's Day and New Year's Eve.
This rocks, Mike. College football right now rocks, dude.
It's some of the best. We'll continue to keep picking. Now, one guy we didn't talk about before we end this, and he just made my day. Gentleman playing for the Florida Gators by the name of KD Daniels.
Okay.
Has anybody seen this absolute monster? KD Daniels, Florida Gators running back, also plays defense. 400 plus pounds.
What?
Oh no!
Oh my god! I was
wrong
like,
guy.
No, he's not. He's a running back.
Well, they're the same number.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
I hate that they do that in college, dude. It gets me so confused.
It really does. So I'm looking for the guy's name.
Against Tulane, you're saying?
Yes. He ran for a touchdown.
Jacoby Jackson?
I think, yes, no. Jacoby Jackson.
And Anthony Rubio?
No. Florida football defensive lineman.
Did he catch it or did he run it?
He's like their third down back. Yes, Desmond Watson. Here we go. Desmond Watson, 449-pound defensive lineman, hits Heisman pose after first career carry
What a
where
dog.
he got a first down.
What a monster.
He is like the refrigerator Perry of his time.
Yeah,
And
I was gonna say
love
he's
that.
like a walk-in freezer Perry. He's way
He's
past
huge.
refrigerator.
A guy like that, he's so big. It's just like, how do you play? Like, he's just so monstrous.
Dude, this is funny because DJ like handing it off to him is like, he's such a tiny guy in comparison to this dude.
It's
What a
like
monster,
you're giving
man.
it to a giant. You're like, here you go. Go ahead.
That's crazy.
Looks like an elf. Looks like an elf handing Santa a present.
Yeah, what a monster, dude.
You gotta love it. Okay, well, that's college football talk.
Yes, it is.
Vince, is there anything you want to get to on the NBA? I know that games are.
I don't like NFL having games on Christmas.
Okay.
Why? It's basketball day, babe.
Okay.
I think it's dumb. I think and we're gonna get to the NFL in a little bit, but I think it applies to this more because it is basketball day. They had NFL games on during the college football playoff. Put it on Sunday. I didn't my dad was like, well, NFL's on. We should just watch that. I'm like, no, Clemson is on right now. That's what we're supposed to be watching.
And the games weren't anything crazy. I mean, the Steelers,
dude.
they weren't great. I
know when it was AFC South matchup, Steelers usually beat the Ravens, and then Mahomes is on the other game. You're like, this is crazy. But it's this is a regular season NFL game at the end of the year for teams where basically their bids are already tied up and good to go for the playoffs versus a college playoff game. And now we're going to be watching another week 17 game on a Wednesday for some reason because the NFL is we have to get football. I love football. Give me football all the time. Yeah. But when there's other sporting events, for the first time this year, Christmas hits and you're like, okay, I'm ready to watch some basketball. And I want to watch the Celtics 76ers to see if they can do something or the Warriors Lakers. It's fun. But now it's but also, random NFL teams are playing today too. let them go enjoy it with their family, dude.
There's some good division matchups though. I mean, the Ravens play the Texans. The Ravens play the Texans. That's going to be a good game. Nico Collins bound to score that game.
Chiefs Steelers, fun, whatever. It's just.
I think those are fun teams. I'm just happy the Bears aren't playing, right? But to
now
your
they're
point,
playing on Thursday.
I feel like growing up though, basketball was always Christmas Day, but hey, now it's all about that money, baby. And the NFL isn't necessarily about keeping tradition when they can make a lot of money.
I think they've gone too far.
We'll see if Netflix can hold up, because that's going to be the real question. Can Netflix hold up the broadcasts? Because they couldn't on the Tyson fight.
Honestly, I kind of hope not.
Okay.
I want score one for the big boys this time. I don't need Netflix to be doing football. Amazon Prime, they've done a pretty good job, but I don't need Netflix doing that.
Year one of Amazon Prime on the football is not good.
Dude, the alternative broadcast. Have
horrible.
You watched it? Oh, I love it.
Oh, where you get all the performance.
It's the Madden layout. It has all their names under it and shit. I love that, dude.
That's neat. That's cool that you could do that.
It's a nerd's dream, dude.
It's a nerd's dream. Shows you their PFF grade and shit. It's kind of cool. Okay, well, there's NBA talk for you.
Yep.
MLB hot stove, pretty hot right now. A lot of guys in new uniforms. One that to me was the most was Paul Goldschmidt to the Yankees.
Yeah.
Notably one of the best defensive and offensive first basemen in all baseball over the past decade.
Yeah, he's getting a little old for sure, but also the Cardinals are clearly blowing it up. Arenado, he's allowed to look for a trade right now. I don't know if you saw that, but he's on the hunt for that.
Wasn't he traded to Houston and basically denied it?
Yep.
Why would you do that?
Why would you want to go to Houston?
Because they're really good all the time.
Cheaters.
You might as well just punch your playoff ticket.
Sort of. Not last year. Not last year.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, no, he didn't want to go to Houston for probably a bunch of reasons, but I just don't think he likes Houston, which I would still understand. I wouldn't want to. It's like Griffey never wanted to play for the Yankees. Same shit. It's once you make your decision, you're never going to change it.
But I mean, if I could play anywhere, Texas would be a pretty sick place to play because you don't pay state income tax.
Yeah, for sure. But send him to the Marlins. Yeah, he's got some. He wants to play for the Angels. He said because he's from Anaheim. So like clearly it's not about winning right now. Clearly it's about him like getting to a place where he's comfortable and he can live for a while. But yeah, so the Cardinals are blowing it up. Goldschmidt to the Yankees is good, better than Rizzo for sure. They clearly have made some moves.
One could argue with the signing of now the starting pitching, which he desperately needed.
Yeah.
You get rid of Soto. You bring in Bellinger, who I think is a far more versatile player than a Soto. Now,
Just
I know they're
a
not
way
the
worse
same
hitter, though.
Yeah, but you have two of the best hitters in the game, hypothetically.
Until the playoffs come.
Right. Until the playoffs come and the lights are bright and they're like, we don't know how to fucking
I'm scared.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, now you get Goldschmidt, who is a bigger upgrade at first than Rizzo.
Yep.
And now you bring in Belly and better starting pitching. One could say you're in a potentially little bit better spot of on-base percentages. And then not only that, but translating that into more.
If not better,
production,
not worse. They're not worse off.
They're baselining. It just looks a little different.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think like Soto hitting
don't-
in that order was scary at the end of the season when they were all hitting.
Sure. It was a little scary, but think about, for example, like when the Braves won the World Series, nobody on that team really jumped off on paper.
Acuna wasn't even playing. It was like Jock Peterson.
Yeah, correct. It was like Jock Peterson and Jorge Soler. Like,
Yeah.
so
Soler was a god in
baseball's
that playoffs. Yeah.
Right. So it just depends on who gets hot. And, if you have guys who have been there before, which both have, it could very well just be something. Now, nothing really crazy. Carlos Santana, Josh Naylor getting out of the AL Central. Thank God.
Well, Carlos Santana is in the AL Central.
Well, Carlos Santana has been in the AL Central since I've been 10 years old. Okay.
Yeah, he belongs in Cleveland. He went to the Pirates for a bit, and you're like, you don't belong there. It's like go to the Twins or go to the Guardians.
He started his career with the Cleveland Indians and is going back there. So I'm happy for him. I saw him play last year. I was like, Carlos Santana's still in the league. Good
Yeah, dude, he's just a unit. You could tell he's just a locker room guy or a clubhouse guy.
Hey, Vince.
Yeah.
Did you see that Eloy Jimenez signed a minor league contract with Tampa Bay Rays?
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. He ruined himself and we ruined him as well. So it's a good match made in heaven.
Baby dear.
Yeah, Sean Manaea, 3 years with the Mets, deferred money in the deal, supposedly. Good. He pitched well for the Mets, like especially going down to the playoffs. Like they're going to need him. I think they're going to be good again this year. People are like, well, the rest of their lineups, like New York, the Yankees fans are going scorched earth because they lost Juan Soto. And like, I don't know if you saw this, Juan Soto flied out in like a men's softball game that he was playing in the other day just for fun. He went up and took a at bat for them. And they followed out, and then Yankees fans are like, oh, fuck, he's washed anyway. He can't even hit it a men's softball league. It's like, shut up, dude. Like,
it's a completely different game.
You guys are so jealous. It's so funny to me. Like,
well, how cool it would be. How cool it would be to have an owner that just wants to give his fan base
I can't
what
imagine.
they want.
Yeah, he's like, money doesn't matter. I have enough money to pay for this team 9 times over. Just make them good. It's like the Dodgers owner the other day was like, I think they paid $100 million in luxury tax. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, doesn't care.
And they were like, so what we want to do is win the World Series, and if we don't do that, then we're going to make our team better till we do. And then if we do that, we're just going to win it next year too. Like, what a concept.
Wow.
What a good way to think about it.
We have the best milkshake. We are going to produce the largest milkshake production you have seen.
The thing is, in the summertime,
we sold out.
People like in the summertime, you do the fire and you cook the schmallow and you put it in the s'mores. But what if we do that and then we blend up some ice cream and then they'll forget about the team? They'll just drink the s'mores and they'll watch the team and they'll drink more s'mores and then the year ends and they're the worst team ever. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? What I don't understand, speaking of the White Sox, do you realize like 70% of last year's staff was retained?
Yeah.
Even though this new coach or manager is starting?
Yeah, because they don't, the GM doesn't make the decisions and the coach doesn't make the decisions. So what are you supposed to do? Phil Nevin's in though. I don't know if you saw that.
Who's Phil Nevin?
He used to coach for the Angels.
Oh,
Now he's a bench coach or something like that. And it's bullshit. Whatever. Who cares? The White Sox are horrible. They suck.
Great.
We got Max Stassi. Hooray. Jock Peterson to the Rangers. He's going to keep getting paid because people believe in him, but he still hits like 200 and then it just gets hot at some point.
Hey, he hit 275 last year with like 25 bombs. So
he's so confusing, the man.
He's good.
Sometimes.
So much so that people want to give him $37 million for 2 years.
Hey, take it. You're worth what people want to give you. Walker Buehler out for like the whole season last year with injury. Penn's a $21 million contract for a year, prove a deal with the Red Sox. Red Sox rotation looks pretty good, dude. It's pretty good.
Crochet, Walker Buehler. Why didn't the Dodgers give him money?
I mean, he didn't really pitch for them that much last year, and they won the World Series.
When he did, he closed the game out for him. So when the lights are bright, he pitches.
Yeah. So
the Yankees do this every 6 to 7. It's like they suck for a few years, and then they go, okay, we got to go get a White Sox starting pitcher that's elite that they want to give up on. Okay, we'll go get that guy, and then they go win a World Series.
The Red Sox, you're saying, not the Yankees.
Yeah, the Red Sox. The Red Sox do this. Yeah. And for example, back then it was, okay, go get a guy that the White Sox want to give up on sale. Okay, they did the same with Crochet. Yeah, let's give them stuff we don't really want, and maybe they'll fuck it up, which they usually do.
And we will.
And then they went and signed David Price. And what did they do? They won a World Series.
Yep. So maybe that would be so funny if the Red Sox win the World Series after the Yankees have gotten close.
Oh, it would be such a stick in the mud for them.
I love that.
It would be great. It would be great.
That's baseball, baby. We talk about baseball more in the off season than we do in the season.
Well, because it's almost more exciting. And we want to be armchair general managers. So
of expectations, and then you get to the playoffs. But the NFL is going on right now, Mike. I don't know if you heard, but football is happening in the streets.
A lot of football.
It's happening yesterday. So what I think would be fun is we make our pre-game predictions on a game that happened yesterday.
Okay.
Does this make sense? 2 games happening yesterday. There's 1 game happening today. That's the Bears. Fuck the Bears. And then we'll get into our predictions after that.
I like it.
We have to make our predictions for what happened yesterday right now.
All right, let's do it. Do it. I'm in.
So we got Christmas matchups tomorrow.
Chiefs, Christmas Bowl.
Chiefs, Steelers, and Ravens, Texans.
Okay.
Should we talk about the Chiefs and the Texans game first, since it happened already last week? And we almost had a death on the field. We almost had a DeMar Hamlin part 2.
Well, I don't think it's Chiefs Texans, Vince. I think it's the Steelers and the Chiefs.
It is. And then the Texans play the Ravens also on Christmas. That's why I'm saying it. So Chiefs Texans played
I got what you're saying.
See where I'm at?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Well, I mean, the Chiefs just continue to win football games regardless of the opponent. And,
all they do is win.
All they do is win, no matter what, as T-Pain once said. And I just don't see a scenario where they're not out potentially in the second or third round of the playoffs, or the first round of the playoffs potentially.
How do you take that from that game?
Because I feel like
everything was working for them.
Xavier Worthy has been him this year.
He hasn't the last 4 weeks though, and then the last 2 since then he's been
popped off.
Nails. And then they have Hopkins. And then Hollywood Brown is back. And then their defense was good yesterday or the other day. Nothing's bad.
Spagnuolo's been really good. For a Texans team that's 9-5 or whatever they are right now, I mean, they're looking like they're getting pretty decimated. Stephon Diggs, knee, now Tank Dell, horrific injury. So Nico Collins is going to be him, and same thing with Dalton Schultz. So they're going to have to lean a lot on the running game.
And Nico Collins, who already had an injury this year that was pretty bad, and then he came back from it,
soft tissue injuries are scary. It was a hamstring. He was out for 6 weeks. So
I know.
It's
now he can't be 100%. Do you think he's 100% right now?
I think so. I think he wouldn't have came back if he wasn't 100.
I think he would have came back at 80 if he knew that there was a chance,
Well, they're most likely gonna win their division, because if you look at their division, not really anybody's breathing down their neck. They're in the AFC South, so it's not like, oh man, I really gotta make sure I get ready for the Colts.
Yeah, they got their own issues going on.
Correct.
But yeah, as far as like the Texans getting to the playoffs,
they're gonna get there. It's just
CJ Stroud hasn't been as good as he was last year this year either.
Well, that's what happens when you get film on guys.
A little bit of a sophomore slump for the man.
Scotch of a sophomore slump. One could say, yeah, sophomore slump. I mean, there's no way other than looking at it. Now they play the Ravens at home. This is going to be a game. I believe this game is real. I think the Ravens know what's going on, but I do believe that both defenses are playing well and they're structured similar. I wouldn't see why this game doesn't hit the over, depending on what it is. I'm assuming it's somewhere near 50. And then not only that, but it's gonna go close. So I think you could see a final score here of potentially 24-27.
That's the Ravens Texans, yes.
Yes, and
so who you
either
taking?
way, I'm gonna take the Ravens.
I am too. Dude, it's like everything that you want the Texans to do specific things, and you're like, this is great, and then they just keep getting screwed. And like defensively, they've been up and down. Offensively, they're losing all their guys. Like, I can't imagine them winning this game. The Ravens are really good. Derrick Henry is somehow against time, just taking off. I was watching with my dad on Saturday, and he was like, look at this guy. I'm like, ew.
A monster.
He's like, this running back, he's huge. I'm like, yeah, you ever heard of Derrick Henry? Like, for people that don't know, my dad's like not a sports guy. He just puts it on, and he's been watching it more as of recent. But he's like, this guy's insane. I'm like, yeah, want to watch his highlights? Like, you want to watch what he's done his whole career?
Dad, do you even know who this is? This man is amazing.
And to have like a unprovoked take on the guy at age 30 when he's been nails his whole career, it's like, yeah, he is that fucking dude. And the Ravens haven't had that guy. The Ravens haven't had that guy, and now they do. That's like I was talking about this earlier. We both have the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I have them winning it. If they're gonna win it, they're gonna win it this year. But the fucking Chiefs, man. The Chiefs, man.
Fucking Chiefs. But that defense needs to show up. They need to show up. For the Chiefs, yes.
All they
and
do
for the
is
Ravens.
show up in the playoffs, though.
Yeah, and hey, another great, George Karlaftis, absolute freak.
Yeah, for real. What a name, too, huh?
A Purdue boy that has clearly been nails. Now, okay, let's go Chiefs Steelers.
Yeah.
Steelers have been in a rut. They have not been capable of winning a big game here over the past 2 weeks with Eagles lost, and now the Ravens. They're not good against teams with birds, and now they're going to go play an Indian. So,
but the thing is they've been the kryptonite for the Ravens. Like, the Ravens would beat every team except for the Steelers all the time, and it seemed like a flip-flop. Like, I heard this weekend. I thought it was funny. It was like the Ravens and the Steelers played, and it looked like a Mike Tomlin team was the Ravens, and then the Ravens were the Steelers, if that makes sense. It was like Freaky Friday, where it was like defense was working out, and like things were being played out, and Russell Wilson went Superman mode, and it did not go well at the end of the game, and that screwed it for him. Like, as good as Russell Wilson's been, he's still Russell Wilson, and he might do a Russell Wilson play for him.
Russ is going to be Russ. Yeah, it's a home game, cold day.
Yeah, and it notoriously doesn't get cold in Arrowhead, so.
Yeah, it does get cold. So that's.
Yeah, I know.
I'm leaning Chiefs. It's difficult to move it any other way.
You can't not take the Chiefs. Like, are they
No
going to finish the season with one loss?
I could see it, yeah.
That'd be crazy. All right.
I could see it. All right.
Now we can do our actual full-fledged recap on last week. So we both got Chiefs and we both got Ravens for this week.
Both got Chiefs and Ravens. No parity this week, unfortunately, this Christmas. But what you going to do? Now, we tied again.
We did. We're tied for the season. We tied this week.
It's impressive. So to kind of kick this off, Broncos and Chargers were on Thursday night, and the Chargers show that they're a really good football team and they play well. And Justin Herbert also showed why he's a elite talent. I also believe that Bo Nix kind of got shown to be a rookie. He played like a rookie. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah, like he didn't do anything that like screwed him, right? But
Right.
he didn't do anything that really saved him. Whereas you kind of need that a little bit. Same record, same division. I believe the Chargers are better than them. Audric Estime, my boy, my Notre Dame boy, 9 carries, 48 yards, and a touchdown. Maybe run him a little bit more. Maybe, possibly, Sean Payton.
He's a big boy. I mean,
He's
but
big.
they have a pretty crowded backfield there in
Yeah.
Bronco land. Even though I do believe the Broncos are still going to make the playoffs, it's right now one of these situations where the Chargers, first year, they're playing well with Harbaugh. It's not a mistake. So, yeah, they should have won that game. We chose correctly.
Yeah, 100%. I think too, and like I was looking at the playoff picture, they're probably going to make it. I think both of them probably make it. If you look at the AFC, like after these two teams, you got 3, 7, and 8 teams, including the Bengals who are holding on. And I really don't want to get malaria, so I'm really hoping that they don't make it. But like
they're a hungry little team out there in Cincy. You know, I mean, Vince might have to get malaria.
But so is Indy, so is Miami, dude. Like if you look at it,
but they don't. You know what they don't have?
Joe Burrow.
Correct.
Understood.
You know what
But,
else
like,
that they don't have?
Jamar Chase.
You know what else they don't have?
A better defense.
T. Higgins.
I know, but they have a better defense. And
They have
the
two elite
Bengals
wide receivers. I'm just saying.
Bengals issue, yeah, you can have a full team of offense and you know how defense ends up fucking you. Just like the Dolphins get put into anyway. But either way, like both of these teams, the Chargers and the Broncos, like if they win this week, either of them, they have a 99% chance of making it, which means the rest of those teams, it doesn't matter, which we've kind of talked about ad nauseum already. But they're both good. They're both not going to do anything in the playoffs, but Charger Land's got to be happy in comparison to the Brandon Staley versus Jim Harbaugh. You're looking at two different things. We talked Texans Chiefs already. We talked Steelers Ravens already. Michael Penix.
Michael Penix is very good at football. I saw an awesome meme that there's
I know. I sent it to you. I sent it to you. I know.
Sent it to you. I also sent it to you.
Okay,
I
look at us go.
first.
No, hey man, I don't know if that's true, but I don't even care because it's hilarious. So
what's the meme, Vince?
okay, let me pull it up, man. Let me pull this. Hold on, I got to go through all of our Instagram messages.
There's a lot of them. Well, basically.
Okay, no, I got it. Can't wait for the debut of the second Atlanta Falcons quarterback who was black, that was left-handed, with the first name Michael and the last name who was one letter off of male genitalia. We're speaking of Michael Vick versus Michael Dick and Michael Penix versus Michael Penis. It's a little too on the nose, dude.
Hey, Michael Penix penis, Michael Vick dick. There you go. But yeah, he looked good. Looked like a rookie, but he looked good.
He looked better than Kirk Cousins, which is good. And
he still made some rookie bonehead moves.
And we say all of this to say that they played the New York Giants, and the Giants are the worst team in the NFL for sure.
And it also helped that he had 2 defensive touchdowns.
Yeah.
So,
but maybe that's like we're getting behind our guy now, and they're like less for the, kid from Barrington and more for Michael Penix. So there's a good chance the team could have gotten behind him for that. Giants get Shador. Giants are going to get the number 1 overall pick. It's just nature of the beast now.
Yeah.
Panthers screwed themselves by winning. A little bit.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I just think they're trying to win games.
I think too. I think that's like more of like a let's help ourselves situation.
Yeah, I just feel like you got to play for some pride, and Bryce Young is really good, and I like him. I like him a lot. I think he's. I mean, when he got drafted, he was it. He was supposed to be better than Stroud. He just doesn't have anything around him, and now I think he's Chuba Hubbard's doing well by him. That defense, they're going to have some high draft picks here. It's going to look a little different for them next year, and I think a good young head coach has been good for Bryce. Yeah, I think it was healthy that he got a chance to sit the first half. And
I agree.
Came back and he's playing well.
The bench worked out for him.
I love to see that. I think it's working well in his favor. Now the Cardinals just, hey, the lights get bright, and you might have a playoff spot, and Kyler Murray just shits down his leg.
It's the most confusing team of the year. Is the Arizona Cardinals to me. Like, number 1. Marvin Harrison Jr., where is he? He's good and he's bad and he's good and he's bad and he's good and he's bad. And you're like, where the fuck? Like, how do we consistently get this man the ball? I don't understand it.
I don't understand why Kyler he hones in on Trey McBride.
Yeah.
And then they take him away. It's like, dude, you got a guy who's the first round draft pick. Just throw him the football. Just throw him get it close. He'll go get it. And he's proven that he can. So
but also,
I don't.
He keeps dropping the ball.
Well, he could be a little Quentin Nelson.
That would be
that was Quentin
scary.
Nelson's issue last year and this year. That would be terrible. But once again, rookie. We give wide receivers not as much grace as we should, in my opinion, as rookies. Yeah. Like, we give quarterbacks a lot of leeway and a lot of leg room, even going into year 2.
Yeah, if you're a receiver, you got to come in and just be a dog right away. That's usually the way people.
But it takes time. And I don't know if Kyler Murray's necessarily going to be the quarterback there next year. I think he's going to be able to play out his contract, but I think they might have to blow it up sooner.
He's like later. Weird good. He's like good, but not, if that makes sense. Like, you watch him play and you're like, oh, that was a cool play. But then it's like, statistically, you're like, oh, okay. Like, that's kind of what we got down to at the end of it.
He always flashes off the screen. But to your point, when you break it down on paper, you're kind of like, Okay.
It's like the eye test, but opposite. Where you do the eye test, you're like, he's pretty good. And then you're like, wait, I don't know if he is. Also, he's so small. Every time I watch him, I'm like, he's a tiny guy. It
was a battle of the midget quarterbacks out there in Charlotte last week. That's what it was. It was like, all right, what midget's gonna midget, or should I say, elf? All right,
nope.
Oh
no!
Come here, you.
'Tis the season. God damn it! Little person or dwarf, I think, is the proper way to say it. But whatever, tis the season.
This season.
We skipped it, but should we talk about our guys?
Yeah, man. If we knew the Bears were going to lose, it's fine.
That's kind of where it's at. We're past the point of getting mad. We're kind of apathetic at this point. Makes sense. Caleb is good. He's still good. I don't care what anybody says. He's good despite, like, they made so many decisions that were just like, why are we doing that? Thomas Brown, like, hey, man. You're not even coaching for, like, a coaching gig. Like, do whatever the fuck you want. Dog out there. Go for it on 4th down. Like, Cairo Santos says no leg, 0 leg. Like, it's just like, yeah, the Lions
he's really good at, like, 50 yards. And then
he's really good at, like, 45. And anything over, like, 52.
I'm not hey, don't you talk about my kicker now, all right?
I'm not anti him. I'm just saying, like, you can't have...
You're anti anything Corey Taylor slander. Well, I'm anti Cairo. Whatever his fucking name is.
Cairo is accurate, but he's got no leg, dude. He has no distance.
What do you want? Do you want Matt Prater or do you want Robbie Gould?
But still, like, if you're on the 40-yard line, you should be able to kick the field goal. And then if you're the Bears, you got to get to like the 32 before it's a feasible kick.
Well, he's been our best kicker since Robbie Gould, statistically. Yeah. So
I know
he ain't
just
going
like
nowhere.
A lot of things need to change. Now, the Lions are good. The Lions are injured, but it doesn't matter. And then also they played the Bears. So it also sucks that a 4-11 team is like the 9th overall pick this year.
But hey, Caleb is doing things at this level that, I mean, kind of, it's impressive. I mean, he's had the longest attempts of like pass attempts without an interception in almost NFL history. He's really playing the quarterback position well. He's making all the throws that you want to see a young quarterback make. I'm tired of the who's better, Jaden Daniels. If you could redraft tomorrow, would you take Jaden over? Well, they're in 2 entirely different situations.
Yeah. I think Caleb would be good in Washington. So like I
think Caleb would probably be better in Washington than Jaden, one could argue.
Could be, yeah.
Caleb made some throws though on Sunday that if you look at it, I've been waiting for him to be able to make that throw all year, and now it's starting to come together. Like that sideline deep ball. One was to Keenan Allen for a touchdown. The other was to Roma Dunze. Throw it up there, let your guy go up and get it. And you know what? Guess what? Your big money guys did.
Yeah.
So he's an athlete. He's our quarterback of the future. Now just get a coach in here that could very well do so. And I do believe that that's going to be Ben Johnson. Whatever you got to do to get that guy through the door, I'd do it.
He said he's taking an interview, and he said he's not taking an interview with a team that he's not seriously considering going to. So he's considering it, man.
Hey, it's a good position to be in when you got all the feathers in your cap and everybody wants to throw $1 bajillion at you to coach their team. I mean, he's doing stuff as a coordinator that, granted, he can with the free will that he has. Okay, I have the best offensive line in football. I can do the goofy fucking trick plays where I fake a fumble.
Yeah, that's the thing too. Also, when you're up, 4 scores, you can kind of do whatever the fuck you want.
I guess that play all derived from a scenario when the Bears played the Packers in week whatever that was now, and a fumble happened on the snap. Jordan Love fumbled it, picked the ball up, found Musgrave down the field. Boom, hit him.
Yeah.
Bears defense totally collapsed when they saw the fumble and lost coverage, and that's what they faked, and it worked out in their favor.
It's hard to make them care, and they clearly don't. We're not doing
they're focused on Cabo.
We're not doing a therapy session now because we don't even need it. We're just apathetic, and it's whatever. Aaron Rodgers, is he playing next year? That's kind of the conversation. Rams beat the Jets 19-9.
I don't think he is. I think him and Devontae are either going to retire together or go to a team that wants to sign them both as like a package deal who wants the toxicity. I could see a team maybe I could see like Shanahan. Well, no, Shanahan's there. The Jags, no. I just don't know if any team's going to want that shit show, sideshow.
Yeah.
Maybe the Giants. Maybe he jumps down and goes to the NFC again.
But they get the number 1 overall pick. They're probably going to take Shador.
Right. So I wouldn't. If I'm him, just retire. Or you go to the Colts because the Colts have an offensive line and Anthony Richardson is not him. You may just want to look at putting him at a different position at this point because he's a glorified running back that doesn't throw the football well.
Yeah, but hey, they are not out of the playoffs yet.
They beat the Titans and the Patriots the past 2 weeks. I'm not. Play somebody.
I know, but you play who you play. And by the way, the Rams are just about in the playoffs now, especially with the win they are in, and it's done.
Kyren Williams. Can we talk about him for 2 seconds? I mean,
Pretty
the guy's
good.
a dog.
Pretty
absolute dog. Good at football. All right. Rams are good, and the Jets just okay. There's also a conspiracy that maybe, just maybe, Aaron Rodgers took the job to get back at Woody Johnson and purposely tanked the Jets because of the COVID vaccine. Just throwing it out there.
Okay. Eagles Commanders.
They would have won this game if Jalen Hurts was in the game. They would have won it.
For sure. But also, there's a lot of issues, especially defensively for the Eagles, where, the Eagles are – they could have gotten the 1 seed if they win this game. You can't give up 22 points in the fourth quarter, regardless of who's playing quarterback for you. 22 points in the fourth quarter to lose the game by 3 is decimating for a defense. They have to be what the fuck just happened to us after that game ended?
Well, the problem is Kenny Pickett, not good. And,
yeah.
He threw 1 touchdown.
I know, but you can't blame the quarterback for giving up 22 points against him in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but then again, if Jalen Hurts is on the field, they move a little bit slower on offense because they have the affordability to do so because he's so mobile.
Well, yeah.
They're worried about taking him away on the ground. When that goes away, Kenny Pickett can run, but he can't run like Jalen. So,
I know he had a good game, but Saquon Barkley's a lot more open to run the ball when you got Jalen Hurts behind than you do Kenny Pickett.
Correct. Yeah. When that quarterback isn't going to run. When you take away RPO in that offense, you kind of don't have the same offense. Yeah. So,
but also, you can't give up 22 points against the rookie quarterback in the fourth quarter. You can't do it.
No, you
got to find a way to stop him.
I was quite surprised by when I turned it back on the fourth quarter. I'm like, I thought just click it off. I just thought it was over. But
Jaden Daniels played a bad game for the first 2.5 quarters, and then they just kind of turned it on in the second half.
It's not about how you start.
It's about how you finish.
Jamison Crowder, by the way, 2 touchdowns. Wow.
Yep. I thought he retired.
Me too. Good for him. Cinderella. Okay. Bengals. Wow. Joe Burrow. Really good at football.
Browns. Wow. Bad.
What happened? What happened to
Jameis? I don't know where he is. I'm sad. It is what it is.
What happened? Did they bench him?
They just started DTR this week, I think. I don't think he's injured.
All right, maybe they just want to get the young dude the reps.
Yeah, he had like one of those like nagging injuries or whatever, and they were like, we're starting DTR because Jameis is a little injured. And you're like, not really. I think that was like an easy decision to make. But DTR's not good. He's never been good, so I don't know why that's a better decision to make.
He was really good with Zach Charbonnet at UCLA, and like.
Well, I know, but I'm saying
typical Chip Kelly offense. So
any NFL reps he's gotten, he's playing like Deshaun Kaiser in 2017 when they went 0-16. So what are you going to do?
Stefanski may be an option for the Bears as well. I might look for a trade package for Stefanski because he's a very good head coach.
That'd be fine. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer wins it for Tennessee Titans. Just kidding. Anthony Richardson wins 7 for 11, 131 yards and a touchdown. What a game.
How many yards did he have on the ground?
Probably more. JT went for 218 though, and he held on to the ball. He had 70 yards on the ground and 131 passing, and they won the game.
Not a surprise.
65-yard touchdown run for Jonathan Taylor. If Jonathan Taylor's good, then they're good.
Jonathan Taylor's very good at football.
And yeah, I don't know what the Titans are going to do. I don't even know if they're confident in their coach anymore, even though it's only been 1 year. But they got to figure it out at the quarterback position.
They don't have a quarterback. You know,
Levis
BDL isn't going to get you anywhere. Right?
Big Dick Levis is fun. Huge dick. Vikings,
BDL Livy. What?
Bill Livy.
Okay, continue.
Vikings beat the Seahawks. Seahawks
told you
kind of needed this dub to go. That's why I took them, because the Vikings like very well could win the division still, and very well could have the number 1 seed. So Sam Darnold, good. Going to be a hard decision for them next year.
Very, very good. Very good. Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those situations where I look at this and I go, okay, well, one thing at a time. We'll get there. And then I think the Vikings are very good. And Sam Darnold, to your point, very good at football.
What's their playoff outlook, though?
Good. Brian Flores is great.
Yeah. For sure, that defense is good.
I like him a lot. I think, Kevin O'Connell, maybe one of the best head coaching picks you could have.
I think he should win it. He should win Coach of the Year this year.
Yeah, he should. And I agree with you. It's going to be very difficult for them. But I talked to a Vikings fan over the weekend. There's a lot of them out here, surprisingly. And I just said, what do you do? He's like, I just feel like he's going to be too expensive. And we don't want to pay him. We have our guy waiting. And if he takes a team-friendly deal, which he maybe, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to want to go and get paid.
Interest. There's Indianapolis. Speaking of teams that can use a quarterback,
he'll be 28.
Yeah,
and he's still got years. I mean,
Jacksonville gives up on T-Law. Throw Sam in there.
No, I think if I'm Lawrence, I go smart. I go Indy. I stay in the Midwest. I stay playing in a dome.
Or Sam, yeah, I don't
worked. That clearly worked. It's a similar offensive system than I just came from. I have all the protection in the planet behind an epic offensive line, great running back. Michael Pittman, I know from college, he would be silly not to take that gig if I'm Sam Darnold. And you get out of playing your former team and in the cold really a lot because they're AFC South, so kind of nice.
Yeah, sets them up pretty well, honestly. But yeah, Vikings, maybe number 1 seed. Bills beat the Patriots by 3.
Yeah, it just seems like they were like, fuck it, let's just go play a game before Christmas starts and hope for the best.
Oh, dude, Josh Allen's done. Josh Allen the last 4 weeks has been 380 yards in the air and 110 with 2 touchdowns running every game. I think he's just all right, let's just win this one close and just do it easy.
Either that or, I like Drake May. I think Drake May is a great thrower of the football.
He's just waiting for Travis Hunter to get on his team.
He's waiting for Travis Hunter. He's waiting for the right move to go. And I do believe that he'll be good long term. But it just seemed like the Bills took him lightly and maybe
Still
didn't play everybody they wanted to. So we'll know.
Jags Raiders, gross. Aiden O'Connell's so bad at quarterback.
Yeah, so is Mac Jones.
Mac Jones is such a I fucking hate watching him. He talks so much shit, and he's just not even good. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I agree.
But this is what I was saying. These are both 3-win teams. You got the Giants, who are a 2-win team. You got the Titans, who are a 3-win team. If you end the season, especially with the Bears, if you end the season with 4 wins, you're like the 8th pick. That's crazy. There's so many bad teams this year.
What I don't understand are the teams, though, that are winning at this stage of the game and, like, biting their proverbial medal on the third place podium.
Right.
I don't see it. Like, at this stage of the game, if you are the Jags, if you are the Raiders, try and lose as many games as you can. Now, that's a shit bowl. That's really not going to change the balance.
Doug Peterson's playing for a job here.
Yeah, he's not going to have a job.
I know, but that's what he thinks. He's playing for a job here.
Yeah, no.
Antonio Pierce is technically a first year. Like, he's playing for a job
Antonio
too.
Pierce will remain. And
maybe.
I do believe. Yeah, we'll see.
Davis is quick trigger.
I mean, if you're Ben Johnson, you live in Las Vegas, you get your first pick, Shador, potentially, or the Giants.
That's the Giants.
Yeah. We'll see.
Yeah, I think Ben Johnson would rather be a Bears coach. The setup is way better there, but
I agree. Okay, 49ers
stink.
Yeah,
they're bad, dude. Can we finally admit it? Can we finally admit they stink this year?
Hey, does Shanahan want to come to Chicago?
Dude, one of my good friends that I was hanging out with watching the Notre Dame game on Friday, he is from the area. He is a 49ers fan. The way he said it to me was how I believed it the whole time. It's like, everybody in the media is talking about this being an issue. Nobody in San Francisco wants to get rid of Shanahan.
Yeah,
not a single person. He's the only good part of them right now, where he's like, they're just playing bad. Brock Purdy has no one to throw to. Debo's not good anymore. Like, it's just an issue. Like, I got an issue.
What if, hypothetically, what if you don't want to pay Purdy and you go, Sam D, you're up?
Yeah, but you're going to pay him instead then?
Yeah, they can't afford him.
They're going to ask for the same amount of money, and Purdy's got one more year before he has to sign. So
right, it's easier to keep the guy in the building than it is to look outside of it. So
yeah,
Debo just legs aren't there anymore, and before you know it, you're going to have to look again at what you're going to do. But then again, if you're Shanahan, maybe I don't know. I don't think they're going to have a team anytime soon that's going to compete for a Super Bowl after this year.
That's tough. They're going to have to rebuild a lot. They're going to have to get bigger on their offensive line, which has not been an issue for a while. They're going to have to do a lot. You got to
replace Trent Williams.
Yeah.
Which Trent Williams, I hate to say it, he's at the later part of his career still amazing.
He's Beyonce irreplaceable, dude. Like, at his peak, you can't get another Trent Williams. Like, go ahead and find me another Trent Williams. You can't.
He's generational talent.
The biggest guy I've ever seen. And he runs like a running back. What are you going to do?
And he also punched Richard Sherman in the face.
Probably deserved it.
Probably did.
The Buccaneers are accidentally maybe taking themselves out of the AFC South race right now.
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, if the Falcons get hot with new QB, that's their saving grace. But I do believe that the Bucs just had a bad game, and Baker didn't look good. And I don't know what the Cowboys were doing. I think the Bucs maybe took him a little lightly.
Cooper Rush is good.
He's okay.
Weird, though. Weirdly good. I didn't expect it.
Through the same amount of games, he has, 5 less interceptions than Dak and the same amount of touchdown throws. Yeah. So I don't know what more to say other than that.
Dak is cheeks this year. For what it's worth, too, the Falcons are playing the Commanders at home. The Commanders are at home this week, and then the Buccaneers are playing at home against the Panthers. So,
should be okay.
8-7, 8-7, 8-7, flip flop, flip flop. It's like Michael Scott getting vasectomies. Flip flop, flip flop. Final game. What a boring one. I watched it for 7 minutes and I turned it off. The Saints suck ass. The Packers are pretty good.
Basically, I mean, they're just to a point now where like they look at Josh Jacobs and just go, okay, go fuck him up, and then we're going to pull you.
I thought they were going to regret the Aaron Jones thing a little bit, but no. Josh Jacobs in this system versus, and I said this last week too, but this system versus the Raiders system, it's like a breath of fresh air for him.
It's a night and day difference. I mean, the Packers might very well just get their opportunity to go all the way this year, considering how they're playing. They look really good. Jordan Love You know what so they brought this up recently on local Packers radio in Green Bay that after the Toyotathon, of the holiday Toyotathon, where they have Toyotas on sale, Jordan Love is elite.
He's just good after Toyotathon.
So it's like any time after the Toyotathon starts, just bet all your money on Jordan Love because he's going to be fantastic.
That's funny. I love those situations.
Yeah.
Like you said, too, it's like you got the Vikings and you got the Lions, and they're playing so well, and that's the perfect opportunity for the Packers to be like, hey, bitches, we're 11-4 and a little sneaky back here. Like, watch out for us. And they went to the NFC Championship last year. Don't forget it. So, it's possible.
You have it. It's possible. Could happen.
Should we make our picks and get the hell out of here, Michael?
Let's make our picks and go celebrate Christmas, Vince.
All right. So we both took the Chiefs and the Ravens. That happened yesterday. Hopefully we're right about that. Now, Thursday night, Seahawks, Bears. Should I just type in Seahawks for you?
Just type in the Seahawks. It's over.
Okay. Moving on. Chargers, Patriots.
Give me the Chargers.
Yeah, one wants a better draft pick and one wants to go to the playoffs. Easy. Chargers. Broncos, Bengals. Fun game.
Bengals. They're playing for something. So are the Broncos, but give me the Bengals at home. Vince and I played this game on Madden. I was the Bengals. I fucked Vince up.
Yeah, Bo Nix is bad. Bo Nix is bad on Madden. Just bad on Madden. I'll take the Broncos.
All right,
they do well against bad defenses, and the Bengals can't play defense. Cardinals at Rams.
Give me the Rams.
Same. They're at home. It's all the same picks right now. Cowboys at Eagles. Eagles.
Unless Jalen Hurts is out, but I mean the Eagles need to. Yeah.
They're trying to do something. And he got a concussion. I don't know if you saw this too. He put his thumb up like I'm ready to go and went to go put his helmet back on, and then they wouldn't let him on. The NFL wouldn't for some reason.
Yeah, they're trying to protect him. Either that or they were like, the fix is in. Don't let him play.
Josh Allen got a head injury, and they let him back in 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, because he's playing for an MVP.
They pick and choose, and it's annoying.
Yeah, 100%.
Panthers at Bucks.
Bucks.
Same. I really, we have one different pick right now, but I can't.
All these picks are just
Jets at Bills. Bills,
yeah. Done.
Colts at Giants. Colts. Like, these are all so easy to pick. Yeah, here's Raiders at Saints. Fun.
Oh,
fun game.
Raiders want to lose. Give me the Saints.
I think the Saints do too. You're taking the Saints. I do. They're at home and they're playing the Raiders. I have to take the Saints too, man.
All right, there you go.
Titans at Jags.
Such a shit weekend of football.
God.
Give me the Titans.
Okay,
No, Jags. Give me the Jags at home. They've been playing good at home.
Okay. Yeah, Doug wants his job. I'm taking Jags. Dolphins and Browns. Dolphins. God damn it. This stinks. Packers at Vikings. Here's a fun one.
Finally.
In Minnesota.
I haven't gotten off the Vikings. Give me the Vikings.
Okay. I'll take the Packers just because I can. Falcons at Commanders.
Ooh, this is a good game.
Oh, yeah.
I like the Commanders at home. And I think Dan Quinn's going to cook up something for a rookie lefty QB. So give me the Commanders.
Commanders are already in the playoffs. Falcons aren't. I'll take the Falcons.
All right.
And Lions at 49ers. You're taking the Lions, I assume.
Yeah.
Even if they're at home, the Niners are broken, buddy. So done and done. Finished and finished. There's our picks. Couple different picks, but most of them are the same. So see how that goes.
Maybe we'll be tied at the end of next weekend, or maybe the Bears win just on a Christmas miracle. You never know.
So funny.
Speaking of Christmas, I hope all of you people know that listen to this podcast. This is truly the gift, and we get this opportunity to do this, and this is truly a labor of love that we love to do.
A blessing.
Week. So, yes, it truly is. So thank you always for tuning in and joining us. And whatever holiday you celebrate, enjoy it to the mostest with your family and friends. And you'll catch us before the new year, right? Or on the new year, this stage of the game.
The 2nd of January. This is our last one. This is the last one of the year. Week 52, baby. Thank you all for listening. We love you. We'll see you in 2025.
We'll see you in 2025. Merry Christmas.
Peace.
Talking Tales with Mike and Vince. Oh, you know. Jazzy beats while we dispense. Yeah, you know.